Friends, I've shown you this display in the corner of my basement a few times in some of my other videos, and I've shown you that there's this picture above it. But what I haven't shown you is this above that. This little picture thing we've had since we refinished this basement, I think about 10 years ago, and in each one of these little pictures, oh, there's a glare. In each one of these little picture frames is a picture of my kids. This is Travis when he's up on hands and knees, and then here's Olivia in kind of the same pose, and then this is Travis when he was a year old and Olivia when she was a year old. And I really like this and I want to keep it, but I don't like the fact that the wood on these frames just does not really coordinate with the frame on this picture and the wood in this chest. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I easily remedy the problem. So the first thing you're going to want to do is put down newspaper to cover your workspace. I always use my dining room table to do my projects, and I definitely don't want my tablecloth getting paint and polyurethane on it. So what you're going to need for this project is some sandpaper. I've got two different weights here. They're very fine sandpaper because you don't want to scar up your project. You'll want some foam brushes that are disposable just for the ease of it. Some paint of your choice. I'm using burnt umber. Some polyurethane. This is just Rust-Oleum. We've had this forever. Used it for lots of different projects. A paper plate to put the paint on, and some rubber gloves. I like to use rubber gloves because I can't stand the feel of sandpaper. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take the pictures out of the frame because you don't want to get any paint or anything on those cherished photos. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of the pictures taken out of all of the frames. And once you have all of the pictures out of the frames, this is when you're going to want to sand the surface of the frame. It's just to kind of get this particular frame I had a thin coating of some sort of polyurethane on it, and I wanted to just get that off so that the paint would stick to it better. And I'm starting off with the finer grit paper, and then I will use the heavier grit paper. I don't know if I did that right, but that's just how I did it, and it worked out okay. So the first weight I used was P320, and then I switched over to the P120. That's just so you know what sandpaper I use. So after I got done sanding, of course you want to get all of that residue and stuff off your project. So I just took a soft cloth that's not even wet or anything, and I just brushed all of the frames off very carefully and thoroughly, and then I just wiped down my work surface as well, just to make sure I don't get any of the sandpaper and the finish that was sanded off into my project. And then I just put some of the paint on the paper plate and took one of those foam brushes and just ended up painting the whole frame. I ended up painting the front and the sides, and then the inside, there was a little lip on the inside I painted. I waited for a few minutes between coats, and I ended up putting 2 coats of paint on the frames to get the color that I wanted. So this is after 2 coats of paint, and I have let them dry, and now I'm just going to use a new foam brush and put 1 coat of this polyurethane on the on there, because the paint that I'm using is a matte finish and I just wanted a tiny bit of shine. So I'm going to put some of this Rust-Oleum on there. We've had this forever. I've used it for other projects and it still works fine, so that's what I did. So this is the next day, and you can see that everything is completely dry. I could have went ahead and finished this project last night, but it was getting kind of late in the day, and so I just thought, I'll just finish it tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the pictures back into the frames, and then I'll hang it up on the wall back downstairs, and that will be what you see next, is the finished product. And you can see that I did get a little bit of paint on the back of the frames just from, crossover from my fingers, but that doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see the back. And that is a little bit of newspaper that got stuck to the back when the polyurethane dried. And that too, again, I don't care because nobody's going to see it. And there's my cute little boy. I think he's probably about 6 months old, maybe 8 months old in that picture. And here is the finished project. I think it turned out really well. It matches so much better now. Actually, it matches perfectly to this picture frame and the whole chest. And you may have noticed in some of the close-ups that the paint job wasn't perfect and the polyurethane wasn't exactly perfect, but that's okay because I was kind of going for more of a rustic, imperfect look, and so I really like the way it turned out. Thanks so much for joining me today in this DIY frame makeover. Why don't you take a look around your house and see something that you maybe don't love and think about what you could possibly do to change it so that you do love it. It's a lot more thrifty to reuse what you already have. We'll talk to you later, friends. Bye-bye.